Nearly 10,000 supermarket workers are now on strike after the company's contract didn't offer their very basic demands. Now, this is the Kroger supermarket chain, and the work stoppage is taking place at nearly 80 King Sooper grocery stores, which are owned by Kroger's company. And it's across the Denver metropolitan area where these strikes are taking place. According to the Colorado Sun, 10 additional stores in Colorado Springs could also go on strike in the coming weeks. Now, what is taking place? Like, why did they decide to strike? Well, the workers' union, United Food and Commercial Workers Local 7, rejected the company's quote, best and final offer, end quote, on Tuesday, saying the $84 billion company did not offer enough for employees to afford basic necessities. And I do want to give you the statements from the union leader, Kim Cordova, because these are, I mean, I couldn't have put this better myself. Kim Cordova writes, King Soopers is enjoying record profits while leaving its workers to struggle with low wages. Grocery workers ensure that our communities have access to food, but they cannot even afford to feed their own families. This is grossly unfair. She also says that the companies were thriving, but our workers didn't thrive. Know what our workers got? COVID, attacked, beat up, spit on, slapped, overworked. And the company, they did great. They did absolutely great sitting behind their desk doing their job by Zoom. And I should also note that the CEO, his name is Rodney McMullen, and we'll get back to him in a minute, is raking in quite a bit of money in terms of his compensation package to the tune of $22 million. $22 million in 1 year. Woz, what do you think?
You know, every time you go to the list of demands from one of these strikes, it's the same basic stuff. We need better pay to be able to pay our bills. We need, safer working conditions. We need better health care. Again, which Medicare for all, universal health care would knock that out of freaking Kroger's list of stuff that they could deprive their employees of, and it's just again, and the workers are always saying the same thing. You're making record profits. You can't tell me you can't. This is some purse tightening measure, and or we're tightening the belts. Or any other euphemism that people use when they want to be cheap Scrooge McDucks. You're making the money. And how you do that, part of how you do that is our toil. Give us our fair share. It's every single time it's the same thing. These people are making record profits. That's what I love, is that the workers are awakening to the fact that they're being screwed by these people. They giving blood, sweat, and tears. You asking people to put their mask on, they cursing at you, threatening to bodily harm of you. And even in forget those moments. Anytime I go to a supermarket, I see the tender way that they deal with seniors and helping them navigate the supermarket and getting their stuff. These people are doing incredible work, right? Like the idea that the company that they work for could be making records, billions in profits, and can't compensate these people fairly for the incredible jobs that they're doing in incredibly harrowing conditions. It's disgusting. But again, it's not like they're gonna wake up one day and be like, oh, I got all this money, let me go dole some of this out to the people. That never happens. It only happens by force. It only happens by labor agitation, labor militancy, and strike these cats, man.
That's exactly right. Because what the executives of any major corporation, they have a fiduciary responsibility to do what? To
maximize profits
for their shareholders. That's it. That's all it is. And the most expensive cost within any business is labor. And that's where labor gets attacked the most. So they're never going to, out of the kindness of their own hearts, especially when we're talking about major corporations, look out for their employees. They're always looking for ways to cut down on what they're paying their employees. And by the way, what I found fascinating, anytime one of these stories pops up, I always get real excited to do some research on the CEO, because I'm always curious about what kind of interviews the CEO has done on CNBC. CNBC is a gold mine. And in September of 2021, the CEO of Kroger, his name's Rodney McMullen, went on to talk about the troubles that they've been facing in terms of finding employees to work for them. Oh, really? You're having a hard time, huh? Let's watch.
We have over about 20,000 openings right now. We're aggressively hiring anywhere we can. And one of the biggest constraints we have right now is finding talented people. And we've continued to increase wages. We've been able to do that. It's part of the long-term plan where over the last 3 years, we've increased wages by $850 million a year. We are increasing another $350 this year. And through work process changes and using technology, we're able to make everybody a little bit more productive. And that's really how we're financing those increases in wages.
No, I mean, like it's right in your faces. I love how immediately they go to a split screen of how Kroger is performing in the stock market, right? It's amazing. But oh, wow, you're looking for 20,000 workers. And I love how he tried to spin it as like, we're giving out raises. We're treating our workers real well. Well, he's lying. And I can say he's lying because I have receipts. Like I have the actual details of what workers are dealing with as they work at Kroger specifically. Kroger owned supermarket stores and they have many under different names. So there was a recent study. And the study specifically looked into the economic situation for these supermarket workers. And here's what they found. Research firm Economic Roundtable released a report showing the economic realities facing workers at the chain who earn an average of $29,655 per year for 30-hour work weeks. So they intentionally avoid giving them full-time jobs so they can essentially skirt having to pay for certain benefits and things like that. The firm surveyed 10,000 workers in Colorado, California, and Washington and found that 70%, a whopping 70% of respondents work only part-time, with many working erratic schedules so they can't have a second job even if they want it. Said Peter Dreyer, who is a professor at Occidental College who worked on the report. And also 2/3 of the respondents said that they couldn't afford basic monthly expenses. 39 couldn't afford groceries, and 14% said that they had experienced homelessness in the past year. Imagine that. Imagine working, 30 hours a week. I'm assuming that they would like full-time shifts, but they're not given full-time shifts. They're given erratic schedules, so they can't get a second job if they wanted to. And as a result of all the work that they're doing, 14% of these workers are homeless. They're homeless. And this guy, the CEO, goes on CNBC and he's like, we got 20,000 people we need to hire. And like, we're doing aggressive hiring. We're looking for talented people. Get out of here. You know what you need to do to hire people. You know what to do to attract people. And as Jonah Furman, great labor reporter, I love promoting his work, mentioned on Twitter, assuming this 14% holds across the whole Kroger workforce, that's around 65,000 people working at the 4th largest private employer in the United States, ranked 17% on the Fortune 500, who have been homeless while keeping the country's grocery stores running in a pandemic. That's the reality of what's happening with workers. So when you hear about the great resignation and all, understand what's really driving that. And I love that workers are actually organizing. I love that unions are providing the protection that these workers need in order to do this strike and demand better working conditions and better pay, better health benefits. That's another one of their demands. The company can clearly afford it, but the company's not going to give it to them unless they fight for it, and they're fighting.
Yeah, man, seeing that laid out the way that it was on that in that tweet when you just again consider the largesse of that corporation, and to think that there are people who are working for them that can't afford, to have a roof over their head, and people are struggling with monthly expenses. Probably like stuff like what, and it all circles back to the things that we're talking about, right? When it comes to child tax credit, paid sick leave, et cetera, Medicare for all. It's like people can't afford daycare. People can't afford rent. People can't afford the basic necessities. They can't afford to get really sick. They can't afford to who knows, God forbid they break a bone. They can't afford to have that heal at a hospital or something like that, or get it worked on, go to therapy, et cetera. People can't afford these basic needs. And it's because our overlords are hoarding all of our resources.
And I want to end this segment by just encouraging you guys to check out Labor Notes. That's where Jonah Furman writes. And for me personally, keeping up with these stories has kind of helped me remain sane. I know we get a lot of our viewers writing in and saying thank you TYT, you help us keep our sanity. Labor Notes and other publications like it help me keep my sanity, because you need something inspiring to look to. It's not just about finding like-minded individuals. It's about seeing people actually making moves and really fighting for change. And for the first time in a long time in this country, you're seeing people work together. They're just bypassing the ineffectiveness in Congress or even in their local governments to demand better conditions for themselves, in their immediate environment. So definitely check out the work and follow Jonah Furman over at Twitter.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.